this is about kind of Damian Lillard. So hopefully, Dame, you see this because you might really need to hear this. So Dame feels that he is underappreciated and that people are taking his game for granted. He's saying I've been doing this for what did he say? It's been 13 years now. He says he's going into his 13th season, and that people are like, oh, people are kind of just not noticing me. I don't think that Dane knows that he is a media darling, that he has been showed more grace and been gassed up more than just about any guard I've ever seen, ever. And then based off what's happened, the context that we have to prove this, been gassed up more than any guard and arguably player in history. So let's just talk about the facts.
100%, bro. I mean, sorry, but Dame, his talk about he's like so nice, bro. He was on the top 25 team. Kyrie wasn't on that team. Klay Thompson wasn't on that team. I don't think Pau Gasol was on that team. Like
Dwight Howard wasn't
No,
on that team.
Powell was on there. Powell was on there. Or
Dwight
Powell
wasn't
was not on there.
oh yeah,
Powell was
you're
not
right.
on
You're right. He
there.
wasn't on
Powell
there.
was not on.
Powell
Listen,
wasn't on there, bro.
Yeah, he
Like
wasn't. He wasn't. You're right.
Powell was not on that team. Klay Thompson was not on that team.
Kyrie was not on
Dwight
that team.
Howard was not on that team. And you know what?
But
They say top 75, right?
TP wasn't on that team. Is Dame Lillard better than TP?
Torian Prince.
No.
That's who I was thinking of too.
Who the hell is
I was
TP?
like, are we
Tony
being
Parker.
serious?
Tony
Bro.
Parker. Tony Parker. No, he's not better than Tony Parker.
Exactly. Tony Parker
Absolutely
was not on that.
No,
Tony Parker was not
no.
on that
Damian
list.
Lillard is not better than Tony Parker.
He's not
He's
better than
not
Tony
better
Parker in
than.
my eyes.
Yeah, he's not. No, nowhere near.
I
You
mean,
give me
Tony
a
Parker
game.
has more moments for sure, like that are
What
memorable.
are you talking
Bro,
about,
what
bro?
team? He got
What are you
four
talking
rings. What
about?
has Dame
What
done
are
other
you
than shoot some
talking about,
threes?
Keat?
I mean, Dame
What
didn't
are
play
you
with
talking
Tim
about?
Duncan and
What are you
Manu
saying? What are you
Ginobili and
saying?
Greg
No.
Popovich, to be
Bro, come
fair.
Don't
on.
want to hear it. I saw
TP
Tony
got a
Parker
Finals
go
MVP,
head to
bro.
head
TP got a
with
Finals
the
MVP.
best, with the best of them. And Tony Parker was never on both ends of the floor, too.
TP got a Finals MVP.
You throw TP, prime
So,
TP out
so
there
does so
against
does Jalen
anybody.
Brown.
Listen, bro, you throw prime Tony Parker out there against anybody, any guard. Guess what you don't got to do? You ain't got to worry about TP. I ain't got to worry about you getting exposed.
He
I
goes
ain't got to worry
ballistic.
about you having trouble scoring. I don't got to worry about the moment being too big for you. I don't got to worry about your shot not falling in the biggest moments.
I
I
don't
know
know,
you're
bro.
gonna be
He's a
TP. I know you're gonna give me 21 and 8 and go run the do whatever it's called. And then if I need you to close, you can close.
his
That
career average is 15 points a game, though. Like
What is it in the playoffs?
he got fouled towards the end. Charlotte days.
What is it in the playoffs?
that was one season.
You know how I
What is
go.
it? Look up. Okay. So his average is 15. What is it? Look up his
18.
average in the playoffs.
18.
Up.
Okay. There you go.
Slightly
That's all
up.
I'm saying.
What's
And
up?
that's like and he's played about 700 playoff games.
Yeah, but like
So I don't want to hear
even
it.
the years that they won a ring, let's like 2003, they averaged 15 points per game that playoff run, 2005, 17, 2007, 21, and then 2014, 17. Like those are solid
Those
numbers.
are
Like,
good
but
numbers
But
for a
listen,
dude.
bro, you don't
but
think that
like
Tony
but like
Deep,
for
bro.
me to say he's better than Dame, I don't know. That just seems like a little bit of a reach to me.
you don't think Tony Parker could have averaged more points if he wasn't playing in the system with Manu Ginobili and Tim
Right.
Duncan?
No, I don't. I think he could have, but I also think Dame could have won if he was playing in the system with Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili.
Dame's better than Vince Carter. Vince Carter didn't make it.
I give Dame better than Vince
Um,
Carter. I'm not that high on Vince
it-
Carter.
yeah,
Okay.
I would probably take Dame.
Yeah, I might take Michael Redd over Vince Carter. We
Okay.
being
Relax.
honest.
Relax. Relax.
But like
Relax.
going back to your point about Dame being like a media darling, though, I definitely agree with that because I feel like this year was kind of the first year that he kind of started to take some flack because this was
Yeah,
probably the first year where he went into the
no
season
excuses.
like where it was like, all right, like you're paired with one of them ones now. Like you're paired with a guy who's actually better than you. You've got a top five guy. So it's no more of that like. You know what I'm saying? Like he was always talking about I don't run from the grind, I don't run from the grind. Ultimately, he
He's
did.
hiding
Like he
behind
went to the
that.
Bucks, but I mean I understand that. I would have done the same thing in his position because Portland wasn't going nowhere. He gave them enough opportunities to put a team around him, and they just failed to do so for various reasons. But yeah, this was the first year that you kind of started to see where the narrative and the media kind of just the conversation around him started to shift, and he started to there was more negativity and more criticism going his way for sure. And
Yeah.
I found that to be interesting. But I think, yeah, like when the expectations come, that's when the criticism is going to come. So he was able to kind of escape the criticism for a while because nobody really expected him to compete for championships because of the team that he was on and the players that he had around him. And so like when he has those playoff moments, when he has the legendary 35-foot step back to game the series against Paul George, Russ, and Melo, or that wasn't against Melo, just Paul George and Russ, like that shot holds more weight because people didn't really expect them to win that series. But like after that, they didn't do shit, but that kind of gets lost in the shuffle because at the end of the day, nobody expected Portland to do shit. So his moments where they happened early in the playoffs, like I remember the game he had against Denver where he went off for like 50 plus and it was like a crazy overtime playoff game. I don't remember exactly um what year that was. I want to say probably
2019.
2020. Yeah. That the year they went that probably is the year they went to the Western Conference Finals because I think they beat Denver in seven.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the year that made Jokic lose weight.
but yeah, so like even that, like he had a legendary game and like people use that.
No, it was CJ had the legendary
No,
game.
I'm not talking about the game seven or whatever game that's I think it was game seven when CJ had the legendary game to kind of win them the series. I'm talking about the game like there was a game before that where he like dropped 50 plus in an overtime game and he probably like I remember he hit one like I think Austin Rivers was sticking him the whole time and I remember he finally missed one. Austin Rivers like put his hands to the sky like this like he was so happy that he
He
finally
went crazy.
missed.
No,
Um,
no, for real. Dead ass. Dame is the king of the first round series wins. That's cool and all. But we talking top 75, bro. You talking about guys. I understand that you're saying, oh, put Dame in
oh,
Tony
actually, they
Parker's
lost that
shoes.
series. My bad. This was 2021. They
Oh, yeah,
lost
this
that.
2021. Yeah, this
Yeah,
after COVID.
Dame dropped 55. They lost that game. He dropped 55 in game five. They lost that game though.
OT, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but here's my thing. The media loves Dame so much, bro, that people forget gloss over this point. There were 75 players. They created a 76 spot just for Damian Lillard.
There's 175.
They created an extra spot for Damian Lillard.
Mm, I didn't know that.
Let me fact check this, bro. I swear this is
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because technically Kyrie was on the list. The reports came out
and
that
that's another thing. There's no way that Damian Lillard should be on anybody's point guard list before Kyrie Irving, bro. Like I'm saying, bro, like they talk about they give Damian Lillard more love than they gave prime Darren Williams.
I'll say Dame is a better number one than Kyrie, but in terms if you want to have a
What has it
rocket,
gotten him?
yeah,
if you
but
What
have
is
how though? How
what is
though?
being number one
I mean,
gotten Dame?
When Kyrie was a Batman in Boston, it was not good, and his playoff performance was not.
There's too many
It was
pieces.
one
There was too
year.
many guys.
He
Yeah,
was a Batman for 1 year in
yeah.
Boston.
There's too many guys,
Yeah,
honestly.
and like I mean, Dame has done more, and he's produced at a. I mean, Kyrie even when he was in Boston, I don't he wasn't touching 30 points per game that Dame was doing. Dame's, but if you want to give me a Robin guy, Kyrie's at the top of the list for sure, and that definitely holds weight. So like ultimately, it just kind of depends on your preference. I think Dame and Kyrie is definitely arguable. Like it's pretty close. Like for me, I probably would say Kyrie also, just because I don't know. I factor in the fact that it's hard to win with. You're not going to win a championship with either guy as your number one, and so I prefer Kyrie as a number two over Dame. Um, but I don't know. It's tough. I feel like he does get a lot of credit, but the thing about it is like when you think about the other point guards in this generation, and you think about Damian Lillard is not the best guard at anything of this era. He's not the best shooter, even though he's one of the greatest shooters of all time, undisputably. He's not the best shooter of his era. He's not the best finisher of his era. There's other guards that have played in this era that are better at him than those things. He's not the best playmaker of this era. So it's like
Well,
I don't know. And he
Bro,
still got top 75 honors with no rings. He doesn't have an MVP. Obviously, he's been to a bunch of All-Star games, All NBAs and whatnot. Um, so I don't know. I feel like he is respected. I don't know.
no, that's what I'm. That's what
he
I'm
gets
saying.
mad love, bro. And real quick, I just fact checked. It was top seven. Dame made the top 76. They added an extra spot just to add him in.
That's
There's
crazy.
Interesting.
76 players on it.
It's crazy.
Interesting.
That's nasty. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like you said,
So yeah,
he
I don't know
Dame.
how he could say that he's disrespected and underrated and all these things when the people are doing stuff like this for him. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
If John
Like, how
Morant has Dame ever came second in MVP voting?
no, hell
No,
no.
and that makes no sense. You were in Portland. You was the man for 10 years at least. You should have at least been second in MVP. I think even John Morant got second in MVP voting a couple years ago.
No,
John Morant didn't get second MVP voting.
never.
I don't know. That's another one you might have to fact check.
I'll
He
look at it
got
right
higher
now.
than Dame ever did. Guarantee that.
Highest job was ever was 7, and I'm sure Damian Lillard has a higher than 7th place finish.
Maybe 6.
I think Dame probably got top 5 one year. I'd be willing to bet that. Let's see. Yeah, he did one year. 2017, 18, fourth.
Oh God, that's what I'm saying. He should have an MVP, bro. You was out there allowed to take 40 shots a game in the middle of nowhere in Portland, bro, and you can't win an MVP.
They
You was
wasn't
getting
winning.
all these
They
three seeds.
wasn't
They was
winning.
getting
It
three
wasn't.
seeds. 3 seed is good enough to get MVP.
That's true. I
3 seed
mean,
good
if
enough.
you're,
So I'm
but like
so the
it's tough because like in order for that like 3 or 4, like you got to be doing like rush shit, like averaging a triple double, like doing shit that's never before seen. Typically, they gonna give that MVP, or like you got to be Jokic, where like you know what I'm saying. Jokic was a 6 seed, but he was literally average like damn near triple double. Like your stats got to be unprecedented outside of just averaging 30 a game. Like I think, in my opinion, at least that's how I feel like the MVP kind of has been awarded over the years.
is
You're
Dame
go ahead.
is Dame in your top 3 shooters ever?
Mm,
No.
Absolutely not. And I
obviously,
think he thinks he's
Steph,
number 2.
Ray Allen. You have
Klay
Clay or
Thompson.
Dame.
Clay, I think Clay's a better shooter than him.
Top 2 is Steph and Klay.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I got Ray over him too, for
Oh, I
sure.
got
Yeah,
Ray over Clay probably.
okay. I can live with that. I
Well,
can't live with Dame over either one of
I
them two.
think probably top 5 is I think Dame's in the top 5 though. It's Steph, Ray, Clay, um, Dame,
Red.
Reggie Miller,
He
probably.
better shooter than Larry Bird. Dame better than Larry Bird shooter.
Yeah, yeah,
He better shooter than KD.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
KD's more of a mid. I mean, KD's a great 3-point shooter, but KD's the bread and butter is in the mid range. When
Okay.
you talk about greatest shooters, I like my mind just goes to 3-pointers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, that's understandable. I get it. So yeah, I'll give you the behind. Right. I have him no closer than fourth is the only answer I'll have said because I'm not taking him over Steph, not taking him over Clay, not taking him over
yeah, I mean, I think you can
over
say
Ray.